Whether you're getting started with budgeting for the first time or you're simply looking for a new tool to help you achieve your financial goals, stick around because in this tutorial, we're going step by step using a free Google Spreadsheet template that you can also download as an Excel file to help you crush your financial goals. Stick around. Hi guys, welcome. My name is Justine. I'm the host of Debt Free Millennials channel, and here we talk about all ways to help you crush debt, achieve financial confidence that leads to more fun and fewer payments. If you are into that lifestyle or finances is something that you want to work on for this year, go ahead and click subscribe. We are going to be walking through my budget template, so let's go ahead and get started by clicking the link in the description box below where you can access this toolkit for free, and I'll also land you on my newsletter so that you can continue to get personal finance tips from me. So let's get started. To get started with editing this template, you'll want to make sure that you click on inside of Google Sheets, you'll want to click on File and then make a copy and then rename it and save it to your own Google Drive. The master cannot be edited because obviously everybody's accessing it. So what I find when it comes to achieving financial goals is writing everything down has been so helpful for me. It helped me pay off $35,000 in student loan debt because I had the awareness of the income and expenses happening every single month. So I've broken this down into 8 different steps. Step 1 is filling out the financial inventory tab. This is a new sheet that I've included for this year. And what it does, it actually helps you figure out, okay, what are my monthly income and expenses across the last 6 months? This does require you to open up your credit card statement or any bank account statements and take a look at, okay, these were my paychecks for months 1 through 6. Getting an average of your income and your fixed and discretionary expenses is really going to help you figure out, okay, realistically, I'm spending $3,500 on my fixed expenses. This is what I need to budget for. When I say fixed expenses, I mean known bills that you pay every single month that generally cost the same amount month to month. Things like rent or a mortgage payment, any insurance premiums, utilities, internet, cell phone, things that you know that are going to be consistent belong in the fixed expense category. Discretionary expenses is all of the fun stuff. Subscriptions, clothes, outings, entertainment, restaurants, that would live in the discretionary expenses. Anytime that you see a formula in a cell, please do not delete. The formulas are there to help you so that you can automatically calculate this out yourself. So if you had a $5,500 income for month 1, it's going to show you the net. Let's say our expenses were $2,400, discretionary expenses was $2,000, and you'll see a net of $1,100. If you went over, then you would see a negative amount. So you're going to fill that out as best you can so that you can get the most accurate average as possible. Next, you're going to fill out any savings, so including emergency fund or a new car, adding the bank name, the current balance. Then you'll fill out any known debts here, and then also any type of investing accounts that you might have, such as a 401k or a Roth IRA, including the amount, and then any assets that you have, including a car, house, jewelry, furnishings, and so forth. As you are working through this, I've included a small net worth table here for you so that you can quickly see, okay, these are my assets, what I have, what kind of cash and investments I have on hand, minus my liabilities, my debt, what I owe, to get your net worth. The next step, step 2, is filling out the yearly glance table. I love this because then it takes a look at your income and expenses for 12 months. This is a great way for you to estimate how much you're spending on each of these budgeted categories. Let's walk through the first table. The first table up at the top is for your debt. List any known debts here, including your monthly payment, what your total outstanding balance is, and the interest rate. Again, anytime you see a calculation in one of these cells, do not delete. It's going to automatically calculate that out for you. The next table you'll want to pay attention to is your income table. So this is going to show you exactly what that monthly income is. If it's $6,000, or maybe it's different, you make a change here, $8,000, and it's automatically going to calculate that yearly amount for you. Down below, you're going to see the budget table. This is going to look consistent across the yearly glance tab and what I have for your actual monthly budget. You're going to be spending the majority of your time within the monthly budget template, but for the yearly glance tab, what I like about this is it's going to show you a percentage of what you're spending on each of these expenses. So it's going to have your monthly and then your yearly. So simply fill out every single expense that you have for the month. If you have something that's not listed here, go ahead and add it to each of these sections or delete something that you don't pay for. Let's say you don't pay for trash and recycling, you can always delete that and make this customizable for yourself. The way that I have my budget broken down is into 4 major subsections: fixed, fund, fudge, and future. Let's go over each of those. First is fixed. Those are any expenses that I was mentioning that you know are consistent month over month. In this example, I have rent, mortgage, cell phone, internet, groceries. I include as a fixed expense because I know I'm going to be buying groceries every single month. I also included all your utilities, any car-related expenses, and insurance. This is separate from your debt table. This is why the debt lives up at the top. It has its own home. Next is your fund money spending. And if you have any questions about what these labels are, I went ahead and added descriptions as a note for each of those sections. So the fund money section are any expenses that are not essential but are nice to have. You don't need to spend money on any of these categories every single month, but do allow yourself some fun. I am not a scorched earth approach person when it comes to personal finance. I truly believe that you can pay off your debt while enjoying your life and spending intentionally on the things that you love, which is why this is a major category inside of my budget template. Things like restaurants, shopping, clothing, haircut, all live within the fun section. Next is fudge. Fudge is not chocolate. This is my little tribute to Ralphie from A Christmas Story where he goes, oh, fudge. It's all the miscellaneous things that you're like, oh, I forgot about that. Or simply adding in a buffer to your budget. If you spent over a different category, let's say you went over in restaurants, you can simply move that buffer amount of money over to the restaurant category, for example. So always allow a little bit of buffer in your budget to help with things. Future is any outside savings and investing that you're doing outside of what you're doing pre-tax. Things like a 401k contribution do not belong in this section because this is your after-tax dollars that we're actually utilizing for any type of savings like an emergency fund, car, a vacation, or maybe saving for a down payment or doing any outside investing outside of a 401k. Things like a Roth IRA or a brokerage account that you're utilizing take-home pay income for would live in the future section. Another thing that's new this year is I've included a chart to show you visually how your money is broken down and what your money goes towards. So in this example, you can see that the rent or mortgage was around 42%, 41.7. I rounded up here in the chart to show you exactly how much piece of the pie it's getting. You'll want to make sure, especially with rent or mortgage payments, I'm going to add a little tip here, that payment should be no more than 25 to 35% of your take-home pay. Most people living in high cost of living areas, places like New York, Los Angeles, San Diego, are going to see their rent or mortgage payment on the higher end of 35% or a teensy bit more. Those who are living in lower cost of living areas, places like the Midwest, small towns, are going to see it more like less than the 30% mark, like 28, 26 to 25% would be amazing. Just to give you a benchmark of where you should be at with your percentages in your budget. Also, if you want to see percentages of a realistic budget, you can check out that video up here in the cards. Let's take a look at where you'll be living for the majority of your time when you're doing the budget template. So this is the monthly budget. I included a blank version, but I'm going to show you the example to give you a sense of how this is broken down. Again, you're going to see all your debt listed out in the debt table up at the top. All of your debts should be listed here, including the minimum payment, what you actually pay, total outstanding balance. I also knew for this template for this year, because I was seeing a lot of my private financial coaching clients adding due dates to the left-hand side of each of their expenses, I thought, I might as well add that. So the DD means due date of when these payments are due to help you keep track of things every single month. So for the January monthly example, we could put a due date of the 25th, and then you're going to see how that lines up within the month. And then if you want to get real detailed with it, as soon as you make a payment, you can just X that out as it's been paid. And then again, you're going to see the income, what I'm calling the income table. In the planned category, you're going to estimate how much you think you bring in each month. If you're a W-2 income earner, this is going to be really simple. Your paychecks are probably the same. If you're self-employed, you have a side hustle, you work hourly, you get overtime pay, this could change and fluctuate, which is why it's so important to fill out the financial inventory to get a sense of what your average income is over the past 3 to 6 months. I put 6 months because that's going to give you the most accurate average. 3 months would also work really well here too. Your planned columns here for the income and here, right here for the expenses is what you're going to do at the beginning of the month. Prior to you actually going through this, you're going to make a plan at the beginning of the month or at the end of the previous month of what's coming up for this new month that I need to prepare for, and what do I want to set aside money-wise for each of these expenses. Maybe you've been having a really high grocery bills and it's like $800, $900 for a family of 2 or 3. And maybe you want to budget for something like $600. You can see how that updates things. So if I put $600 here, you're going to see in this planned budget, it's actually going to give me a negative amount. This should be as close to zero as possible. This is called zero-based budgeting, where income minus expenses minus your monthly savings, whatever that net amount is, should be as close to zero as possible, because we want every dollar to have a name and an assignment so it has a job. That way you're not accidentally spending money that you wanted to earmark for your emergency fund or pay for a new subscription. You've got it covered because you are telling your money exactly where to go. Very intentional. You're going to, that's kind of the step 1 of filling out the monthly budget template. The step 2 is, as you're actually going throughout your month, you're going to put in the actual column what you actually spent in each category. If you are making multiple purchases within one category, what I like to do is up here at the top, I hit equals, and then I add every single transaction that I've made at the grocery store or any toiletry related expenses. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll highlight the row. I will add, insert a note, and then I'll say, okay, the first expense was for Costco. The last 2 expenses were from Kroger. That way I know exactly where that amount of money is coming from. It's just a really great visual for me to see, okay, this is where this money is from, and this is what I have to work with. The next column that I have after actual is spent from sinking funds. If you are setting up sinking funds where you are contributing money into every single month, and then you want to go ahead and withdraw and spend from that sinking fund, this is where you can record that transaction. So for example, and then before I get into that, let me also explain running totals. If you have any money left over that you want to roll over into the next month, then you can add it to the running total. That way, if you've, let's say, earmarked in this example, clothing, and you want to go ahead and roll over any money that you didn't spend from your $200 clothing budget into the next month, it's going to record that here for you. So any of those calculations, keep that so that you can see how that stacks up over time. So here's an example of how you use spent from sinking funds in the running total. So you can see on shopping, let's say I want to earmark the $300, but I actually spent from my sinking fund of $300, $150, I can record it as I spent $150 from this shopping sinking fund, and now I have $150 left to work with. This is really useful for things like even car insurance or car maintenance, where you want to set aside money every single month, but you may not be spending money on it every single month. Okay, next is your pre-tax paycheck contributions. You can record any pre-tax paycheck contributions that you can see, so you have the awareness of what you're actually spending on things like like health insurance, 401k, dental, and vision insurance. This is really useful just to have it in the front of your mind for the next open enrollment period. I've also included a notes section here for you. Make any notes about what's happening at the start of the month. You know, maybe there's an upcoming birthday or a vacation that's going to change your budget. Reflect on any obstacles or wins that you had at the end of the month, and then prepare and plan by making notes for next month that you need to prepare for. What's also new for this budget template this year is I've included a handy chart to show you exactly how you spent your money within the month. I find that these visuals, again, are super helpful just to see how your money, how you're spending money breaks down per category so that you can make smarter financial decisions in the future. So in this example, I have it all filled out for you. You'll actually want to get started by using the blank monthly template so that you can fill it out for your needs. And if you're wondering, Justine, why didn't you include January through December, include 12 tabs of the template? It's because I know you're probably going to make major adjustments to the tables here, and rather than you doing that 12 different times, all you need to do is update this blank template, click the arrow, and then click duplicate, and then you're going to label this January or October or whenever the heck you're starting this thing. And then I update it for the January budget, and then it's going to have all of your pre-filled budgeted items, including the planned amounts here because you filled it out in the blank template first. That's a look at how you use my very simple budget template, and this is a simple tutorial. Let me know if you are using this budget template this year to help you with your finances. I personally love it. I still use it. Me and my husband use it every single month in our Beers and Budgeting episode, and it's the tool that I use with all my one-on-one financial coaching clients. If you would like access to this template for free, you can download it using the link below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you thought this was helpful for you and motivating you to attack your personal finance goals for this year, and I'll catch you in the next one.